So I thought Adonis was a very interesting person and kind of the way he came up as a poet writer. So he really came from a poor family and he was too poor to go and actually attend school to learn how to write better and become a poet or as good as a poet as he is today. And I found it very interesting how his dad taught him everything he knew, and he ended up being so good that he was able to go to the president of Syria and actually got a free ride to Damascus, and he got a BA in writing and philosophy and things like that. So I thought it was really interesting how he was able to come up from nothing, and it kind of showed that we had the American dream here in the U.S., and it kind of seemed like he almost had like the Syrian dream. And I don't know, I haven't really heard many people in Syria being able to do something like that, and it's really cool that other countries you could still dream big in other countries, because I kind of just focus on the U.S. on a day-to-day basis, so it kind of gets me understanding it a little bit more from where he came from in his background. And the first poem, the beginning of speech, I thought it was very interesting. These poems are a bit harder for me to understand. I had to read them a few times before actually understanding the meaning. But from the first one, I believe that the meaning is he's kind of splitting off from the person he was when he said he was walking on the river and then they went opposite directions. And he used to be, well, at the same time, he said he's still good-mannered like he was back in the day. That hasn't changed. But I don't know, it makes me think about the war in a way, how they were always so young and innocent, and it kind of relates to the book we're reading as well, how she was so young and innocent and enjoyed school and everything and just being with friends. And then once the war started to happen, she just split off from the person she was, and it's just so much different now. And that could be mental health wise, the way she's acting, because there's just so much chaos. And that's what it kind of made me think about when the guy said he split off, because it's just so difficult. You're just a different person at the end of the day. You can't go back to everyday life, and you just got to move forward. And that's what I kind of thought the poem said. And the second one, A Vision, I thought this was a very strong poem about the city, and just kind of going off and leaving the city and how much pain and misery these Syrians felt when they had to leave their homes and become refugees. And I just imagine having to leave my home, not knowing what's going to happen next on a day basis. I would get so anxious and so scared, and it's just like kind of illustrated the pain and misery these Syrians were feeling during the war and when they had to leave their homes and their whole lives just for the unpredictable. And it said in the poem that he felt like a grain, like his life was kind of misery and dying away, and he just felt like such a small individual. And that makes sense because a lot of the Syrians at this time didn't have any power, and they just felt so small and had to do whatever they could just to stay alive.